Hi, hello. Welcome to springtime. It is so cold here today. This is why I'm wearing my cardigan. It's just like 5 degrees Celsius out there today, and it actually snowed. I woke up this morning and there was snow on rooftops, and I was like, gosh, this is so weird. But I guess that's just April weather. So yeah, April already. Wow, I'm speechless. Anyway, I thought I'd do a March wrap-up, even though I didn't read that much. But still, I think the books I read are really something that one can enjoy, especially in springtime. So without further ado, just let's get started. The first book I read is Anne of Green Gables, and first of all, wow, I mean, look at this beautiful, beautiful book cover. All around illustrated with all of those beautiful, beautiful flowers. It is a Puffin in Bloom edition, illustrated by Anna Bond. And yeah, well, I think Anne of Green Gables is a really well-known story, especially with the, well, relatively new Netflix series. Yeah, well, Anne of Green Gables is the story of an orphan girl named Anne who is adopted by Marilla and Matthew, a brother and a sister living at Green Gables. And when Anne first arrives, Marilla is really disappointed because she actually, or both of them, Matthew and Marilla, wanted a boy to help them on the farm. And so it's a really rough start for Anne. She just, you know, thinks she won't be able to find a new home at Green Gables. Oh well, yeah, then they obviously keep her because if not, we wouldn't have the story of Anne of Green Gables. So from that point on, we just follow her growing up from the age of, I think, 11 up to 16 or 17, not quite sure anymore. And in this beautiful, beautiful surrounding of Green Gables and those Canadian landscapes, my god, it just makes me want to travel and go to Canada and see it for myself. The book in general is just so beautifully written, and one of my favourite quotes, so one of the descriptions is, "Below the boughs, the air was full of a purple twilight, and far ahead a glimpse of painted sunset sky shone like a great rose window at the end of a cathedral aisle." Isn't that just so beautiful? I think it's lovely. And so we see Anne grow up in this environment of Green Gables and, you know, living all these little adventures, like accidentally dyeing her hair green or nearly drowning in the Lake of Shining Waters, I believe, and also, you know, doing pretty well at school, and then also going on picnics, going to town with her friends, and her really, really vivid imagination gets her into trouble quite a bit, although she manages to learn from her mistakes, I think, every single time. And I think that just makes her such a lovely character. That is what I really like about Anne. She has just such a vivid imagination. She manages to make everything so, it seemed to be so exciting. And this is actually the quote that is written on the back of the book, which is, "Looking forward to things is half the pleasure of them." You really get to know her, and the way she grows up and bonds with Marilla and especially Matthew is just so lovely, just adorable really. Even though the ending is a bit sad, still it's such a beautiful story, and Anne's imagination is something she shares with the main character of A Little Princess, which is the next book I read in March. A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Look at this beautiful cover. So it is also a Puffin and Bloom edition, illustrated again by Anna Bond. And I tried to, maybe you can see that, to copy a few of those flowers for the thumbnail. I hope I, you know, managed to capture the vibe of this. A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett is about this little girl named Sarah who lives in India with her father, and then her father sends her to London to go to a girls' school to study. Her father is really wealthy and she is therefore treated with a lot of respect. She gets just anything she wants, and she has just, I think, not just one but 2 rooms of her own in this girls' school, and really just has a very, very privileged position. And then one day she learns through letters from her father that he is involved in a diamond mine business, and then unfortunately something goes wrong, and then she unfortunately learns about the death of her father, and from that point on nearly everything is taken from her, and she is sent to live in the attic next to the scullery maid and has to work just as hard as Becky, the scullery maid. So she finds herself living in this attic in this very small room and leading this very different life. But the thing that really helps her is her imagination and her strength of character, really. And this can be seen by the way she treats everyone around her, even though they scold her and they are mean to her. She really treats everyone nicely and with respect. And her vivid imagination also just enables her to see the beauty around her, even though she doesn't have all those luxurious things anymore. She has in the attic this window to look out up to the sky. And so I just want to read you one of my favourite quotes in that description. It's just so beautiful. The clouds melting or drifting, or waiting softly to be changed pink or crimson, or snow white or purple or pale dove grey. And as I said, she just keeps being nice to everyone and is polite to everyone, even though she is treated rather badly by the cook and by Miss... what's she called again? I don't remember. She says, it has nothing to do with what you look like or what you have, it has only to do with what you think of and what you do. Sarah proves to be a really, really nice character, and you really get to like her so, so much. Why Sarah lives this life in the attic and has all of this work to do, we learn about a certain gentleman who is looking for the daughter of a late friend of his, and so it becomes clear rather quickly that he's looking for Sarah, but of course Sarah doesn't know about that. This gentleman sends Sarah presents and furnishes her room in the attic secretly, so no one really knows about it, and Sarah doesn't know who it comes from. But in the end they find each other, and Sarah learns that actually her father has not lost all his fortune and she is really rich. I think it's just such a beautiful story and really appreciated it, really recommended if you're looking for a children's classic. I think it's adorable. And so one book I want to mention that I didn't read in March, but actually I think it's the first book I read this year in January, is The Secret Garden by the same author Frances Hodgson Burnett. And look at this beautiful cover. And I got this book for my birthday in December. It is a Victoria and Albert's edition from the William Morris collection and illustrated and designed by Liz Catchpole. So, well, The Secret Garden I think is also really well known. Isn't there actually a film, a new adaptation of the story? Haven't seen it yet though, I'd like to. The Secret Garden, I think it's a really nice read, you know, for springtime. And when I read it in January I was like, I'm so looking forward to spring and sunshine and flowers and everything. And well, this is again a story about a little girl who lives, her name is Mary, and she lives in India. And this is in the very beginning of the story because dengue, a disease that spreads, her parents die and she is sent to England to live with her uncle in this huge house surrounded by the moor, and finds herself there all on her own. And in the beginning, unlike, you know, Anne in Anne of Green Gables or Sarah in The Little Princess, Mary is not really a likeable character. She is in a rather bad mood. She is not really nice to people. But then as she's on her own, she starts to explore her like surroundings and explores the garden, and through the help of a little robin. I think that's just so cute, you know, children's books it's just so cute. Through the help of a little robin, you can see him here on the cover, she finds the secret garden, and she spends time there just on her own until she gets to know Dickon, a boy who lives in the mall with his family, and together they manage to bring the garden back like to life really, and to grow new flowers and plants and everything. And then at some point Mary explores like in secret, because she's actually not allowed to, but the house she's living in, and then she hears some mysterious kind of sounds and she wonders, you know, what that could be. And then she finds out that she has a cousin who is ill. His name is Colin, and he stays in bed all day. He's told not to get up, he can't really walk. And then with the help of Dickon, Mary manages to, like, all three of them, Dickon, Colin and Mary, manage to sneak out and go to a secret garden and spend time together there. And yeah, it's a beautiful story, you know. Colin learns to walk again, and this is how basically the story ends, you know, him walking with his father, so Mary's uncle, towards the house. And the beautiful thing here is, in my opinion, that you can really see development of character in Mary, and what she learns is that thoughts are just as powerful as anything. What it says in the book, and one of my favourite quotes from the story is, "Thoughts, just mere thoughts, as powerful as electric batteries, as good for one as sunlight is, or as bad for one as poison." And I think that's just so true, you know. Your thoughts can really influence your well-being, and just mindset is just such an important thing, and this is what Mary learns over the course of time. Okay, so that is it for the more sort of, I think, springtime readings and books. And currently, well, which is also, I think, very like fit for springtime, I am reading Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and I'm actually reading this for my English seminar, so I'm, well, not quite halfway in, as you can see. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to read next, but I have a couple of ideas I want to share with you, and if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comment section. I'd be happy to read about them. So I recently got a couple of new books. One of those is Little Fires Everywhere. Then also The Queen's Gambit, and I thought, you know, I've heard so much about the Netflix adaptation, and I thought, why not read the book first and then watch the TV series? Also, I thought, why not read another like children's classic, Mary Poppins? I've had for, well, I'd say a couple of years sitting in my bookshelf, and I haven't finished, like, I have started but I haven't finished it yet. And also, one last thing I could imagine reading, or rereading in this case, is Summer in February by Jonathan Smith, which is, as far as I know, not that well known, and I think it deserves so much more attention. It is really, really a beautifully written book. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you could get some inspiration, some ideas, and, well, as you could see, I haven't read that much, but I think it's important to kind of show that you don't have to read like 5 or 6, 7, 8 or even like 10 books a month to enjoy reading, and just don't put that much pressure on yourselves. It just should be for fun and something you enjoy, instead of, you know, putting unnecessary stress on yourself. So happy springtime, or in case you live in the southern hemisphere of this world, happy autumn, which is also, in my opinion, a beautiful, beautiful season, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!